Let me give you one simple Facebook trick that you can use to grow your podcast audience. I want to talk to you about what you can do on Facebook today using just your phone to get more eyes and ears onto your podcast. Facebook is still the biggest platform in the world, whether you love it, whether you loathe it, whether you're on there a lot or whether you infrequently make an appearance. The fact of the matter is this: your audience are on Facebook. What I'm not going to do today is talk about advanced Facebook marketing strategies or paid for adverts. I'm not going to talk about any of those things. The thing that I am going to talk about is video. Video on Facebook is one of the most powerful ways of growing your platform and your audience for your podcast for free that you can start using today. Now, there are three facets to video when it comes to Facebook. There are live streams, there are posted videos, and there are stories. I like to use each of those three for different things. What I want to do is just give you, before I dig into what you can use those three for, I want to just give you a little bit on the why you should be using Facebook video for your podcast. First and foremost, you can measure it, all right? If people watch a video or a stream, you can do something later to retarget them. And we're not going to talk about retargeting here, but it is something that we do talk about on the show and that we talk about in our podcastsuccessacademy.com podcast marketing membership. The fact is that retargeting is very powerful. And what you can do later is say to Facebook, show these ads to people that have watched parts of this video. So video is not only a great way of engaging with people, but it's a great way of giving yourself a platform to retarget those people later. Another big reason that Facebook video is fantastic right now is Facebook wants people on its site a lot longer. What's the longest type of content to keep people engaged? It's showing them video after video after video. It's why when you watch things on Facebook Watch, after the video is finished, it automatically scrolls to the next video and just autoplays, carries on playing, because they want people on their site. So if you have video and it keeps people on their site, they will give you theoretically preference in the newsfeed algorithm because they want people watching. There are three types of Facebook video that we should be using. There are the live streams, and I use live streams in particular for letting people access me and the Rebel Base Media team. Access me, the podcast host. And what I do is I do it in our groups or I do it on our Facebook pages. I pre-schedule them and I market them using email marketing or market them here using this content to tell people about them. And I say, come and join me at this time on this day and we're going to talk about podcast this, podcast that, podcast marketing, podcast growth, podcast launching, whatever. And we essentially treat them as a way of giving people the chance to two-way interact with me and the team. And I want you to do that, like access to the podcast host that they love. They listen to your podcast. They absolutely adore it. Give them access to you on a 15, 20, 30-minute live stream that you can do today from your telephone, from your cell phone, from your smartphone, all right? It's fantastic for that special access to you, the host. And guess what? Again, you can promote your podcast within that. You can tell people how to subscribe and Facebook gives you preference. Number two, posted videos where you pre-record something. I use these for short promotional videos for my podcast, but also kind of sort of, I guess, promotional videos, but that give people access to extra things that they wouldn't do, like bonus content and bloopers and outtakes and, you know, real kind of breaking news that I give to people. And I use those in a pre-produced fashion so that they stand the test of time and I can post them and I don't have to be there live as all the engagement happens. So I want you to think about using posted videos where you pre-record the video and then upload that to your timeline or to your page's timeline or to your group's timeline. Use that for announcements. Use that for promotional content. But I'm not talking like these fancy, highly produced videos where it's, you know, boom, 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 fancy graphics here on the podcast. Like, forget that. I want you to just hold your phone up in front of your face in landscape view and just go, hey guys, it's me. Guess what? Today on the podcast, I'm talking about X, or I'm talking to this person about Y. Here's why you should check it out. Like, it's really fun. I really enjoyed it. And go and check it out at sparkofrebellion.com/listen. Use your single subscription link that comes free with all Captivate hosted podcasts. That's a really strong way of building engagement and affinity with your audience, because that's what we want, that connection. The third part of Facebook video is sort of stories. stories. And I say sort of stories because we're more used to these on Instagram and Snapchat. But Facebook also has stories. And I would argue that these are very, very useful for giving people more of a personal look behind the scenes. So I tend to post stories, in particular on my Instagram, which of course is a Facebook linked business. I post them on my Instagram when I'm here in the studio, and I'll say, hey guys, look, I'm just about to go ahead and use the Canon to record the YouTube version, use the Rodecaster to record the audio version. Here's the lighting rig that I've set up. Here's what you can use. It's like a $50 ring light. I've got the mics. It's really quite a small setup, but it looks quite nice on YouTube. It sounds quite nice on the podcast. Here's behind the scenes of how I'm recording. And I can use those to give people that real deep dive access, but then ask a question, because you can build engagement. You can get polling and voting and just get that question and answer session going by pinning stickers to your stories. So what I'll tend to do is say things like, hey, here I am in the studio. I'm using this equipment to record. I'm just about to record episode 235 of the Podcast Accelerator. What are you up to today? And I'll feature them on my next story. And people type in what they're doing and we get some back and forth engagement. And people love being shouted out on Facebook or Instagram or on their stories. People love seeing themselves tagged by their favorite podcast host. So use stories to go behind the scenes. So to recap, use Facebook video to market your podcast for free by using live streams, pre-recorded and posted videos, and stories to organically rank better in Facebook's algorithms and to get more eyes and ears on your podcast for free today. Let me know what I can do to help with this, all right? Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Asquith or in the YouTube comments, and let's just start building your audience together.